Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia, Hassan, together with Sulhi, Azman. It is the 11th of January, and it's actually a big day in some not good ways for the entertainment industry. I know we're going to talk about business, I'm going to talk about the markets, but you know what? I want to talk about the Golden Globes and how it was this morning, hosted by Ricky Gervais, I think his 4th time. Big winners included Revenant, and Leo DiCaprio actually won for that. It's a story apparently of a man and his bear. So that's well, okay. Put it this way, I don't care about all of this, but I really want to know what I should be watching because tickets are expensive now and I need to save.
Correct. Okay, and I think, you were talking about, speaking about watching, right? You were talking about this very movie called The Big Short.
Yes, you should all go watch this movie. It's about the guys who shorted the housing collapse that, that happened in 2008, subprime. It's also a book.
Crisis.
Go watch it. And he's got a very cute quote. Steve Carell in it does say something very interesting about fraud. And in this day and age, when we talk about people defrauding, he says fraud has never ever worked. Eventually things kind of go south. When the hell did we forget all that? So it's something to really keep in mind. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. But on also sadder news, I don't even know how to say this without kind of slightly tearing up. It's the fact that David Bowie passed away today at the age of 69 from cancer. He was such an icon. It's actually very sad for me.
Right. I mean, it is very sad for the entertainment industry in the whole world as well, because hits. We got some Let's Dance, Space Oddity.
Space Oddity is my favorite. And
also he released a new album just 2 days before
last Friday he released on his birthday, actually. It's kind of, I think he kind of knew. But anyways, talking about things that are down, not that saying his death is that related to this. The fact is market was also down, KLCI, going back to what we talk about. 20 points today, 1,637. Regional performance also was abysmal today. It just tanked. 1.91 billion shares were traded today, worth almost, just to give or take, about 2 billion. As we lead up to Chinese New Year, I think you will still see people looking for leads as the market trades sideways.
Correct. And also today, this is despite the fact that we have a strong industrial production number which went up today, but it was not strong enough to sustain the market. And a comment today by Moody's may perhaps spook the market a little bit in the local front, where they cut the sovereign rating outlook to stable from positive. The key drivers were include the deterioration in Malaysia's growth and external credit metrics due to external pressures over the past year, macro financial risk posed by system-wide leverage, as well as expectation that progress on fiscal consolidation will see only limited improvement over the outlook horizon.
In all, to translate that, it just means it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad year. I think oil in general, that has already cut their their prospects. But talking about ratings agencies, watch The Big Short. They talk about ratings agencies and that, but it's never good on sentiment. If you actually want to go regionally as well, of course, it was a bad day for China.
It was.
You actually did see, it was still down in the doldrums after last week's sell-off. Actually, Malaysia market actually ended positive last week. I think it's finally catching up with them because China continues to be the big thing. Foreign equity sold, like you say, amounted to about 613.7 million. I think people in general are just spooked. Nikkei closed 69 points down to 17,698. Shanghai, as we were talking about, 5.33% to 3016.7. I don't know how it's going to look at Chinese New Year. Moving on to our hot stock of the day. This one's interesting, right? AWC Bhd. Stock's been climbing about 50% since end August. Today up a nice little 5.88%. It was among the top movers, 45 cents.
Yes, correct. And this company is a very interesting thing. It's controlled by the GMD, Dato' Ahmad Kabir Muhammad Nagor. And AWC stands for Ambang Wira and whatever it was about. Anyway, it was...
fanciful.
Fanciful. I mean, it's just an abbreviation of some sort. Anyway, this company has in business interest in integrated facilities and solid waste management. Also does building maintenance work. And as you can see, this is very similar to the Faber Group, or now known as UM Agenta, where they provide maintenance services. And what's on the news front today, Nadia?
Yeah, well, the news front really was, after all that, was AWC Bhd. They've secured a 61.95 million contract for plumbing works of this gigantic, wonderful, sky-reaching building called KL118 Tower Project, or Menara Warisan, if you want to be patriotic. It's going to be a mixed development project. I think it's good for them. This project is just continuing to spit out projects for everybody. Correct. And in this case, everybody wins. And the fact is, its unit Quijek was awarded that plumbing contract, and it runs up until December 20. 2019.
Yeah, so it's a 4 years steady income for AWC Bhd. Now this would be good as well because AWC has long-term concessions to manage government facilities in the southern states, Johor, Malacca and Negeri Sembilan, as well as in Sarawak as well, which consists of federal government buildings and hospitals and so on.
So it's just going to add to their book, I think, as time goes on. I think we'll see more contracts from 118 come out as the thing is be. Right. But just to sort of wrap it up for you, the fact is we're looking at AWC. They rose almost 6% today to close at 45 cents. The reason for that is because they got an almost 62 million contract for the plumbing works of KL118, which should wear well for their order book going forward. And if you look at their earnings, definitely a nice little boost for them. But anyway, so moving up to although margins, by the way, has had an issue. Moving on to our stock momentum quickly, we're talking about Cycle and Carriage Bintang Bhd. Now, I have been putting off buying that Mercedes I wanted, but obviously a lot of people haven't because it's pegged my negative momentum as the Edge Research, but it's actually gone up almost 5.56% to 3 ringgit and 80. And this was because if you look at the earnings, they had a staggeringly good year.
Yes, correct. It's a very stellar. I mean, speaking of earnings first, the net profit for the third quarter rose by 300%, while the revenue was up by 105%. Now, this was due to the fact that they have a very strong tie-up with the Mercedes-Benz sales, basically.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? If you looked at it, you wonder about people complaining about the cost of living and moving and all that. Obviously, somebody out there is buying a Benz.
Now that's an irony,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it?
It's the ironic thing that we talk about total industry volumes going down, Protons are making, making money, Perodua is feeling the pinch too. You know what? Because maybe, obviously, everybody saved their money and went to go buy a Benz. Look at this. It's ludicrous. 70% growth year on date to passenger cars, selling 8,196 units in 2015. I want to meet these guys. Because as we complain about GST, as we complain about the cost of living, who is buying these Merces?
Yeah, correct. And it's actually consecutive 4-digit sales figures. My God, that is a lot of a strong performance there. And this company, right, it's controlled by this Jardine Matheson, with a Singapore-listed company with a lot of business and diversification, 59.1%. And again, this year, Mercedes-Benz targets 2016 to be as successful as last year, and to retain and expand leadership position in the premium car market.
Okay, so to also be very fair to them, the fact is they do have very strong branding and they are very, very conscious of what the thing they're targeting. I suppose in the case of the premium game, it's just a case of buy me instead of buy Audi. I think they are very, very good in their marketing, and that's going to be the one thing that pushes for them. But actually, just to wrap it up, we're looking at our stock with momentum, which is negative, and this is Cycle and Carriage. Saying that, although the share price has actually gone up, and the fact is, if you look at the earnings, it's one of the best either. These guys continue to strive in the premium market, and I have a weird feeling this isn't going to change.